everyone. Welcome to Protective Diet Education, lesson number 214. This lesson is In-Flight Travel Meal Made Easy. I'm taking advantage of an opportunity to share with you exactly what I'm packing for Jerry for his trip to Tampa, Florida. He's leaving this week on Thursday morning, and he will return with my mother on Monday. He's going to a business conference in Tampa from Thursday to Sunday, and then he will be driving to pick my mom up in Naples, Florida on Sunday evening. So she is already planning a meal for Jerry's dinner. She's very excited. My mom has been on a protective diet along with us for years now, and she's so excited to feed Jerry and to be reunited with me, and my brother and my sister Marilyn are also joining us here in California after she's here a few days, so we can have a big family celebration. And I just wanted to show you everything that I'm sending with Jerry, and along with what he's packing in his bag, staple items to give you some tips when you're traveling, and also what Jerry plans on purchasing while he's there and what he's going to prepare to eat, because he's going to keep it very simple, like any man should, like any woman should while they're traveling. And before we get started, I want to have a little toast to Pam. Thank you so much for sharing your testimonial today on Protective Diet Living. I don't always catch all of them, so if you can, Pam, submit it to protectivediet.com through the testimonial submission form. You don't have to submit a picture of yourself. It could be a picture of beautiful fireworks or anything that you find beautiful. And just so we get your story there for more people to read, because Protective Diet Living, our official support group on Facebook, is a closed group, and everyone's posting in there so much. It's so active that I miss posts. I've actually had people tag me on them saying, Julie, did you see this? But before we get started, I want to read Pam's testimonial, but I'm having some chilled tuber tonic that I made last night after dinner. And before I added the soy milk to it to make it a latte, I put some in a jar and refrigerated it, and now I'm having it like a little toast in place of a ritual of wine or a cocktail. I'm having the chilled tuber tonic, and it's delicious and spicy, chilled down on this hot summer night. So check out that recipe even cold. It's delicious and super protective. So Pam writes, tomorrow is my 60 days on PD. Here's my results. Drum roll, please. Thank you, Jerry. I have lost 22 pounds, and I have lost 4 inches in my boobs, just 4 inches from my waist, hips, and thighs. I have been wearing jeans that I could not fit into for the past 3 years. I'm down 2 bra sizes and down 3 pant sizes in some jeans. I don't think my before and after photos show much difference, but the tape measure and the scale don't lie. I am so grateful to have found PD, and even more grateful that it works and I don't have to feel deprived or hungry, or that I have to have immense amounts of willpower to stay on this, she writes, diet. Thank you, Julie Marie and Jerry, for all you do to make this lifestyle possible. Thank you, Pam, for following through, because your comment about that you're so glad, you're so grateful that it works. It works 100% of the time that it's applied full time. It is guaranteed to work. That's why I want everyone to write, yay, Pam, I think you're so great, before I start throwing advice at anyone listening in that wants to have results like Pam's experiencing. She talks about her weight loss because that's the most significant that she's noticed. Wow, her pants are fitting and everything feels great. But Pam is feeling confident, she's feeling successful, and she is feeling like, wow, this works. So that's going to push her forward into her next month to produce even more results, and Internally, I know things are happening, the magic's happening, especially when it's showing on the outside. You're doing everything perfectly, Pam. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. You make my day. You make my life. These success stories are what I'm in it for. I'm in it to see what I've experienced happen to you, because that's why I want you in my classroom. I want you to have this freedom from food stress, from disease, from discomfort, all of the things that I experience, freedom from fear of disease. We all deserve this. And anyone sitting in this classroom with us tonight or watching this in the archives, anyone that gives the time to be in this classroom deserves these type of results, deserves it all, deserves to take it home to optimal health. So all it takes, because it works for every single human being, is to follow along with that guide to optimal health and give yourself the love and respect you deserve and stick to it, because this is treating yourself right. Especially in stressful times. CJ was mentioning in the chat before class that she was going through some stressful times, actually some joyful stress. She was experiencing excitement. Something big deal is happening in her life and her whole family's life. And a lot of times we go and turn to food as comfort, even when it's a good thing. We might be eating ourselves down from excitement or eating ourselves down from a high. Don't allow yourself to do this. Experience the excitement. Experience the unknown, the feelings of, oh my gosh, I have all this anxiety anticipating what's coming. Experience it. Feel it. Work through it. Talk to us. We're going to get you through it. That's what we're here for, support. It's not just about food, but it's about telling you that you deserve it all. And don't eat yourself down from a joyful high. Do not do this. Show yourself love and respect. Stick to this protective diet, because when you have good things happening or bad things happening, you need a powerhouse endothelium, the foundation of your immune system, so that you can experience the joys in life or experience overcoming the downs in life. Do it. Stick to it. Come on. Don't make me want this more for you than you want it for yourself. I know you want it for yourself. You're in this classroom every single week. So let's do this together. So, travel meals. Oh, before I go on about this too, I have to say thank you, Carla. Thank you so much for the love letter Jerry read to me out of my email before class. Jerry is the checker of my email, as most of you know that have communicated with me. He forwards the ones that are really special to me, because I want to keep my spirits up so that I can keep your spirits up. So I only get email that's great. That's exciting. So Carla, you know the little hearts you can send on Facebook during the live feed? That's what these are. Thank you so much. I love you too. And I am so thrilled that you have been so successful. I think back to the day that we met each other for lunch at Pita House, and we hugged and cried in the parking lot. And I look at you now, and it is, I've got to find that picture of us.
By the way, there's hearts going up the side.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic, Carla. He read that to me, and I'm like, no, I have class. I didn't want to cry, but I love you, and I love all of you that have been with me for years. You've been in my life every day, interacting with me. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your love with me. So I needed it. I needed it today. I need it every day. We all need this kind of love and support every day, and reassurance that what we're doing means something. And what you're doing, changing your diet, this nutritional intervention with a protective diet, it does mean something. It means you can be better and more for everyone around you, for our planet, for the animals. But you have to secure your own mask first. When we do that, we have the energy, we have the ability to be here, be alive, to do so much more with our life for years to come. So, okay, in-flight meals. So let's start with the lunchbox. So Jerry's bringing a carry-on bag. He's bringing his duffel bag, typical guy, you know, how many pairs of pants do you need for or what? You're gone 5 days.
Right.
How many shirts do you need? 5. You know, it's just like fold it up, put it away. Underwear, he's slim, his clothes aren't huge, bulky, so he gets away with just this little duffel bag.
Don't forget my hair dryer, Julie.
Yeah, I said, well, Jerry, since you don't have to pack a hair dryer and you don't have to pack your cosmetics and all of your stuff,
lipstick.
and your 5 different pairs of shoes for your outfit changes, he wears the shoes he's wearing. So lucky guy, he could pack probably his whole lunch inside his duffel bag and carry only 1 bag. But I was like, all this space in your duffel bag, let's put some items in there to help you get through this week or 5 days in Tampa without your feeder, without your personal chef. So he went in the pantry, he knew exactly, and I said, please pick out what you would bring with you, because I want to make sure that Jerry can secure his mask if I'm ever not around. So the first thing he grabbed was the broth mix, of course, and ramen noodles. Now, one thing I want to mention is when you're booking a hotel room, Jerry was really smart and found out that they had kitchenette hotel rooms in the conference center where he is staying, or at the place that's hosting the conference center. So he requested that and told them that it was mandatory he have that room because of his what did you say? Your prescribed diet. It's his prescribed diet. He has to be able to prepare some meals. He asked also, he called today to confirm that that's happening on Thursday, that he has that room. And he called to confirm that there was cookware. And they said, whatever that's not in, if they should be fully, your kitchenette should be fully stocked for you to be able to cook in your room. But if anything is missing, call housekeeping. So he already knows ahead of time to relax. He doesn't have to pack his little pot to cook his noodles and his broth mix. So he will stop at the grocery store on his way from the airport to the hotel, because he's not even renting a car during this time. So I want to show you, this can be done anywhere without a rental car, but his first trip will be the grocery store. And he looked up what grocery stores are in the area, and he knows he's got several choices. So all he really needs from the grocery store for this dinner meal, which he has 2 of here, he's got 8 ramen, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You actually have 3 dinners out of this. Yes.
Angela just wrote in saying, call housekeeping and ask them for a blanket. I actually suggested call housekeeping and ask them for an Instant Pot, but...
Yeah, an Instant Pot would be better for Jerry. He'd eat pressure cooked pasta with the broth mix on it, but he doesn't need it. He's got these very convenient ramen noodles that cook in hot boiling water in 6 minutes. So even if all he had was a teapot, he could make this, or a coffee pot. As long as you have a bowl or container to cover with these in it with boiling water over it with the broth mix, you have ramen. And he's going to stop at the grocery store and pick up a bag of baby kale so he can add some sulforaphane protection to this. And he could also get broccoli, because he has a stovetop. He can simmer the broccoli in the broth mix and water, and then add the ramen, cover it, wait 5 minutes. He's got ramen with protective broccoli in it. So those will be his dinners, and Jerry will be thrilled, because when I ask Jerry what he wants for dinner, 9 out of 10 times it's some kind of pasta, ramen, get well soon soup, some type of pasta. He loves pasta, so he'll be happy. He's also packing some woven wheats because we had them in the pantry. This is emergency food. We actually had to check to see if these are stale. We don't eat these all the time. These are like travel foods for us because they're pricey. We could make tortilla chips for so much less, and I feel like all this packaging is kind of wasteful. But when you're traveling, these are great. These are from Whole Foods if you have a Whole Foods in your area. If you don't, when you're taking a trip to a big city, I bet they have a Whole Foods. You can go and get your baked woven wheats. And then Erewhon corn flakes, because why not pack these? He's going to the grocery store, he can get a box of soy milk, and if he's hungry after he eats his ramen, or if he wants to have this for lunch, Jerry will probably eat breakfast and dinner. Because he's used to eating dinner with me. It's like a late lunch, early dinner. So he probably won't even have time for this. But this will be good plain food for when, or driving food from Tampa to Naples. Jerry's a snacker. So this would be good for him for that. Emergency food. Then he's got 4 cups of steel cut oats with his measuring cup inside in case they didn't have a measuring cup. And he's going to cook these on the stovetop. At the grocery store, he's going to get a bag of frozen blueberries. Probably way more bananas than this because Jerry eats a lot of bananas. And he's set for breakfast. Blueberries, bananas, and steel cut oats. And that's really all he'll need from the grocery store. He could pick up some rice cakes if he thinks he's going to be munchy. I told him to pick up one of these baby watermelons because they'll have a knife in the room and he could eat through one of those in one day. But now I'm going to show you what is available. Oh, and he'll probably be at this conference and they'll have lunches and stuff, and Jerry will have water. He's totally fine. Jerry is very social, and he's more in it for that part of it. He doesn't want to miss out on the lunches because he might be able to connect with some people that he hasn't seen in a while. There'll be some people that he knows there, and also just learning from each other. It's a business networking conference he used to attend, so he has friends there. Okay, so in his lunchbox, I just want to show you what all fit in here. He doesn't need to bring all these containers, but I wanted to show you how many containers he could bring. Now, in this lunchbox, whenever we're traveling on a flight, Jerry is going all the way across country from California to Florida, so it takes a long time to get there. But even if it didn't, if it was a short flight to San Francisco, I always say in all of the travel lessons, there's 4 travel lessons, by the way, I always say to make sure that, or this is the 4th travel lesson we're doing. We also have camping lessons.
Marcy suggests that you should make me a double batch of birdseed.
Birdseed would be delicious. Okay. And also probably an apple pie. Jerry would like to put in one in each pocket. But there's so many things that we can make to bring. But I wanted to show you, I don't have time for Jerry's. I'm going on this trip. I have a life too. So, and he is not going to bake an apple pie before he leaves. We are playing like catch up, trying to do all of the work for when he's gone and all of the work for when my mom's here. We're bringing a class to you that's pre-recorded that will be our camping trip, our camper van trip, so you can see how we managed our food doing that. And so he's been working on that, and we're just trying to catch up on work so that we can take a little time with our family. So I just want to show you how simple this really can be. A lot of times we get worked up, and before a trip, we've got so many things to prepare for, like what shoes are we bringing? What outfits are we bringing? What are we going to do on our trip? So those kinds of things, or wrapping up work, maybe cleaning your house before you leave. That's something I always did before a trip, so when I came home it was all nice. Spending more time with people maybe that we're leaving behind, or pets. So I don't want to do all this food prep before we go on a trip, and when Jerry and I have taken trips in the past, it's always last minute. We're like, oh my gosh, we have 4 days. Let's go tomorrow. And it's like 11 o'clock at night and we're buying tickets for the morning. So what am I going to pack up? That's what I wanted to show you tonight. So these containers I wanted to show you, they all fit into here. Number 1, let's cut out the plastic water bottles. So many people that travel say to me, oh, I can't, because where am I supposed to get water? Well, get yourself a thermos, a small one. You could get an even smaller thermos than this. And you want to make sure you get a thermos that fits at the drinking fountain so that you can fill it at the drinking fountain in the airport. Yes, the drinking fountain. I know this is going to blow people's minds, but I will take water out of the bathroom sink in an airport. It's not gross. Bottled water is gross. Bottled water is like drinking liquid plastic. It's loaded with BPA, which has been shown, it's related to cancer, it's related to reproductive problems. Why are people paying top dollar for this water that there's no regulation on that water and what it contains and how filtered or unfiltered it is in it, how much BPA plastic it has in it? So get your own water bottle, and for the time that you're away, drink that tap water from the drinking fountain. The other option, I've heard that most Starbucks will refill water bottles for you. So you can ask that way if you're not comfortable going into the bathroom. There's always a Starbucks or a bar at the airport. You can ask them to use their little nozzle gun or their sink. And could you please fill this with water for me? They'll do it gladly and say, I'm trying to reduce my impact on the environment. And they're gonna love it. They're gonna be like, oh, how sweet, how great. I've eliminated plastic water bottles out of my life, and I'm trying to save the planet. Would you mind filling this water bottle for me? And you could leave that bartender a tip of $1, because that's way less than what you're gonna pay for water at the airport, I guarantee it. And you're saving your health, because that water is totally safe to drink out of the tap, but that bottled water isn't. And I have to tell you an insider secret that I learned. This was many years ago, and maybe things have changed. But I had a client that was a flight attendant, and she told me, we filled the water that's in the plastic big water bottles that we serve to the guests on the plane from the tap. The reservoir of water that they fill into the airplane. So you're basically drinking tap water out of the bottles. I don't know if all airlines do this, but the one she worked for did. And that was in the 90s. So maybe things have changed, but I doubt it. So feel confident about getting your water from the restaurant in the airport, Starbucks, the drinking fountain, or even the bathroom. That's your last resort. You don't have to do that. But if you don't feel comfortable asking or engaging or waiting in line to get water at the bar or at Starbucks, go to the bathroom, get the water, get yourself a water bottle. So when you go through the check of the flight, this has to be empty, just empty, and then fill it after you're at your gate. Get on the plane, drink your water, and you're good to go. You have your refreshments. I just wanted to share that with you. When Jerry's at the conference, he's going to be able to find water to fill his water bottle with if he wants to, if he doesn't want to carry around a plastic water bottle, because I think eventually it's going to be something that will be very shameful, like the plastic grocery bags. If I forget my bags, I put everything into my cart. I tell them no bags, and then I take it to my trunk and I fill my bags in my trunk. Because here it's like almost embarrassing to buy that plastic bag because you're contributing to landfill. Plastic water bottles are going to be embarrassing to carry around, so let's get ahead of the game and cut them out of our life. We've cut out the plastic straws, and we have these awesome glass straws that I shared with you years ago, and there's a link for them on Protective Diet. They're so much fun to drink out of, especially the Skinny Frap or any of the cold iced teas. Iced beverages. We can reduce our impact on the environment and improve our quality of life, because we're not sucking up all that BPA in the plastic straws too. And okay, so enough about that. So what Jerry's bringing with him is a burrito bowl, or what the recipe is called on the website is taco salad. It's the same thing as a burrito bowl, and we're starting off with the cilantro lime rice, which I started in my pressure cooker earlier this afternoon so that it would cool down enough to add the cilantro and the lime. You could add it hot, but I wanted to layer it up into a taco salad. I'll show you how this works. I have my microplane to zest my lime. That's the first thing we're doing, is zesting the lime. Don't cut it before you zest it. This lime zest has, and we're doing this fourth, not back. Fourth and turn. We talked about this in the cheesecake class.
No
back and forth, because then you're grating that white pip and that's bitter. Just fourth, no back. I hope you guys all think of me as you're zesting your limes and laughing. Fourth, turn, fourth, turn. Anyway, so these zests of citrus fruit, lemons, limes, oranges, kumquats, very, very DNA protective. They're studying it for sun damage protection, cellular damage, but it's very protective all around. So I am incorporating it in more recipes for flavor, but mostly for protection. And I feel like we're wasting less. So the cilantro lime rice I used to make with 2 or 3 limes. And now that I'm using the zest, I've reduced my food consumption by using 1 lime juiced and 1 lime zest. So only 1 lime. And I have improved my food quality, because now that I don't need 3 limes, I can buy 1 organic lime. If you have that opportunity in your area to get them organic. If not, don't fret about it not being organic, because always keep in mind that the protective qualities of the produce item will protect you from any pesticides that were used on that item. And on a protective diet, we're eating so much produce that we don't have to worry about the nutrition of an organic lime versus a conventionally grown lime. Because there is some studies that show that organic produce has more nutrition to it. But we eat so much produce on a protective diet that we're never going to be lacking in vitamin C or anything that we need from our food. So that's not even something that we have to worry about. I feel like sometimes when I buy organic produce, I'm supporting the movement more than anything, and also I feel really good about it. It makes me feel good, and that's the #1 thing we can do for our minds, is to feel really good about the food that we choose. That's going to do wonderful things for our psyche. If we're eating foods and afraid of them, then that's not good for us. So always do what feels good. And when we learn the science of eliminating animal products and oils and sugars out of our diet, it's very hard to turn off those mental negative thoughts about it, which is good. It'll keep us on plan. But when we go off plan, if we choose to, it would make us feel really bad the next day because of what we know, the knowledge that we have. Clean up as you go, because you don't want a disaster the night before you're leaving on your trip. You want to pack this up the night before as well, even if you're leaving later in the day, just to make life easier. And this time around with this brown rice, I used long grain brown rice for my cilantro lime rice. This is the recipe of the week if you haven't caught that yet. And I'm just breaking it up. It's cooled down. Now, because I cooked this so far in advance, I only cooked it for 20 minutes instead of the suggested 21 minutes or 22 minutes. Some of you like your rice cooked even more. I like my rice to have separate grains, so I like it cooked at 20 minutes. When I'm going to leave it in there, just I turn off to keep warm, but it stays in there all day and just cools down. And then I'm adding an entire bunch of cilantro. And I could even add more than this, but this is all parsley. This is my herb box here. And if you don't know what an herb box is, check out the little video that shows you how to keep one on the bottom of every web page on protectivediet.com. You'll see a little herb box video. It'll show you how to store your herbs. And then just chop this up, stems and all. Chop it up nice and fine. Keep your fingers back, use your sharp chef's knife, and it's a pleasure. Get yourself a cutting board. You know, you've watched my kitchen tools lessons. I hope they're listed in the Guide to Optimal Health. Set up that workplace for wellness so that you have the things to make this a pleasure and easy to apply on a daily basis. When I think about chopping herbs, it's one of my joys because I have the right tools for the job. It makes it so much fun. And a sharp knife. Find a knife sharpener in your area. It's one of my new best friends that I made since I moved. He's made my workplace for wellness a place that I want to get chopping in. It's such a pleasure. So chop this fine. If you can't stand cilantro, keep trying it every chance you get because exposure therapy has me loving it. It tasted like soap the first time I tried it. Jerry wasn't a fan of any of the herbs, and except for basil. He liked pesto. That was the first thing I ever fed Jerry. But cilantro grew on me. It took some time, but now I can eat it in, this is a small bunch. I could eat it in double bunches in this recipe. And it's very, very protective. This is our greens in this recipe. If we didn't get any other vegetables in, we're way ahead of ourselves just with what we've prepared here. Okay. Bigger spoon, give this a nice stir. I usually use a fork just to fluff up my rice. Give it a good stir so that those herbs are distributed evenly. You can see my rice is fluffing up now. That broth mix in this rice recipe makes it so savory and delicious and adds protection. So get that broth mix in your workplace for wellness. It's going to give all of the recipes that use vegetable broth a massive boost. I've been making all my old recipes now with the broth mix and I'm like, oh my gosh, unfried rice is amazing. And the gravies and the sauces have just become something else. So the first thing I'm actually going to make 2 taco salads or burrito bowls, whatever you want to call them, because we're going to eat them tonight because I'll have to remake this for Jerry's travel meal tomorrow, just so that it's really fresh for him, and I wanted one anyway. Go ahead, Jerry.
Marcy asks, has anyone traveled with Lucky Dog Food?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
We have this cooler that we bought just specifically for him that keeps cans really cold, and you can pre-freeze it before you travel, and you'll see that on the camping trip. I don't know if we have a picture of the cooler in the camping trip.
No, we don't.
But we kept it in the mini fridge, but we kept it in the cooler when we were traveling. If we fly, we have that cooler for him. So this is how I would do the rice in here. When I make this recipe, this is the full recipe split between Jerry and I. Jerry usually gets a little more than I do, just because he's able to eat a little more than I am, but it's close. It's a close. I'm really hungry, so it's close, but I'll show you closer so you can see. That's it. That's 2 cups of rice. 2 cups of dry rice makes that much right there. And then you can see this is 1 day's worth of food. If something happened that, I started to tell you, if we were taking just a flight to San Francisco and we got delayed and stuck at the San Diego airport and there was a holdup, I want enough food with me that I don't have to go back home. I don't have to leave the airport because I didn't think to bring anything with, and I had to buy a lousy banana for way too much money and be feeling anxious, because anxiety at the airport sometimes gives us the munchies, and everyone's around us eating McDonald's French fries and all kinds of junk and chocolate covered raisins and all the things that I would have wanted So I want to make sure I have this awesome meal with me that's going to make me feel really full and satisfied. So that's why there's so much rice. The other thing I would pack up, and I will pack up for Jerry, is tostadas. Now, if you don't have the time to bake the tostadas, or it's too hot out to bake the tostadas, I totally understand that. Then make a double batch of the rice. Fill this up with more rice. Make sure you have enough food in this container in your lunchbox to feed you for the whole day. So if something happens, you're set. So you could put lots of tostadas in here to travel with. Jerry, I don't know that I'm going to send you with tostadas, because if I do, the person that sits next to you on the plane is going to have to listen to the whole time. These are so loud.
Like you next to me on the couch, right?
Like me chewing gum. I'm not allowed to chew the protective gum, and Jerry's not allowed to eat tostadas in my ear. That's the agreement. We have to play music or a loud movie or something when these are being eaten, because it drives me wild. Okay, so
Lee says that the tortillas totally fly well, so we might need to get some fresh tortillas.
Yeah. And then we're actually out of tortillas in the freezer. That was the rest of them. I was trying to ensure that the person that sits next to you doesn't go crazy by using them all up. Okay, so then in my refrigerator door, I always have a salsa from my setup day. I always have my pickled pepper rings. I mean, come on, they're my favorite. And chopped onions, if you want to put chopped onions. You might not want to put chopped onions on your travel meal if you're sitting close to someone and you're kind of embarrassed about opening your container and it's like, oh, knock the person out next to you with onions. The salsa will be enough. So talking about the salsa, a lot of you buy jarred salsa, and I went looking for one that was free of additives yesterday, and so I could have it for this class, because I never buy jarred salsa, because once you taste homemade salsa, it's hard to go back to this. And I found this jarred salsa. It's from Whole Foods. It's roasted chipotle, because that's what we like. We love the chipotle salsa by Protective Diet. And this roasted chipotle salsa was $4. I think it might have, yeah, it was $4, I believe. And it's 16 ounces. I made a full quart, 32 ounces of the Protective Diet organic chipotle salsa using organic tomatoes, diced tomatoes. Find some great diced tomatoes in your area. And you might think, oh, they're too expensive. Well, this was a conversation going on in our support group this last week. I buy Bio Nature, Bionature, is the brand name. They're organic tomatoes. They're made in Italy. They're salt-free, no salt added, and I buy them in crushed and I buy them in diced. And I buy them when they go on sale, and they're usually about $3 a jar. This is a 28.2 ounce jar. This is awesome for all of our tomato cream sauce, our bolognese, anytime you're using crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes. I use the diced tomatoes in the organic chipotle salsa. My salsa's organic, and it cost me $3 for this jar because I bought it when it was on sale. I watch for the sales and I buy them by the case, and I just stock up. My mom does the same thing. Underneath her bed, she's got cans and different things that she gets on sale if you don't have a big pantry. So it's so worth it, because when you use that last one for $3 and then you have to pay $5, you're like, oh, why didn't I buy more? And as you practice a protective diet, you will learn how many you use within a 6-month period very quickly. And so this cost $3, and I was able to add fresh cilantro and the onions that you cook in the recipe and the spices, I don't know, for 25 cents maybe, and all organic spices in here. $4. $3.25. Look at how much bigger this is. This is 32 ounces, this is 16 ounces, and the flavor is incredible. So the the chipotle salsa is the closest one I would say to jarred salsa. It's got a little bit of vinegar in it for that flavor of jarred salsa is what I was trying to reproduce Trader Joe's old chipotle salsa that they discontinued, or they added some kind of food additive to. The other thing about this jarred salsa, there's some questionable ingredients in jarred salsa that I've hemmed and hawed over, and that's one of the reasons why we have so many salsa recipes on Protective Diet, because diced tomatoes is the first ingredient. The second is tomato puree. What is in those diced tomatoes? They're not just tomatoes. They would write tomatoes. Diced tomatoes means they got them out of a can. So does that mean that there might be some food additives in them and they don't have to disclose that on the label? I've been learning a lot about labels because we produce the broth mix. And when I was learning about what can and can't go on a label, I learned even more about what people can get away with putting on their label. So this isn't something that I'm eager to open. I don't want to add any chemical food additives to my diet. I don't need anything drawing me back to eat food. I already love food enough. And I love my food to taste fresh.
You're like the queen of clean food.
Queen of clean food. Aren't you glad I'm your personal chef, Carrie?
I sure am.
That's right. So then we need to add something fresh, something crunch to this. We could also add some frozen corn. And that's what I like to add whenever I'm making this. Let me grab a glass. I always have frozen corn in my freezer. So this is like a go-to item for a burrito bowl for me. Jerry loves corn. I buy this in big bulk bags when I can at Costco, but I also buy it at local grocery stores. It's a great way to get corn into your diet. And I take it out of the freezer frozen and I run some warm water over it and I let it sit in the warm water. This is how I defrost it in a mug because I don't want to deal with a strainer, and I've got this big strainer to wash or put in the dishwasher. So I just wanted to show this to you, how I do all of this. The next thing in here would probably be my lettuce. So you could use romaine lettuce, which I have in there, but I also have iceberg lettuce because I wanted to show you this example because this might be easier for you if you're packing this on your return flight home. So there's a lesson, and I looked it up and I don't know if oh yes I did. Lesson number 85, it's in the travel category. It's called Simplicity and Meal Satisfaction. And it will show you how to make this meal in your hotel room, simplified with brown rice or white rice, whatever kind of rice that you can get steamed from either the grocery store or an Asian restaurant, to make this burrito bowl with a can of refried beans and head of lettuce. And just tear the lettuce or head of romaine and tear it in your hotel room. So I love iceberg lettuce. I call this, it's a joke around here, but I call it my junk food because so many people look at this as not healthy food, but oh my gosh, my mouth waters when I cut it open. The crunch of this is amazing. And this time of year, I find the romaine lettuce isn't that great. And it's not that crunchy, it's not that dense, it's not that full, and I turn to iceberg lettuce. And I love it. It's hydrating, it's cooling, it's refreshing. It's fantastic. It's protective. Don't frown upon the iceberg lettuce or any of the leaf lettuces. Like, I love green leaf lettuce and red leaf lettuce, but if it doesn't look great, I grab iceberg. So chop this so that it's easy to manage and eat out of your burrito bowl or your taco salad here. And I'm holding back from just eating a chunk of this because it's so cold and fresh. Oh, I love it.
You seem like Lucky when you get a rice cake now.
Yeah, Lucky loves the rice cake. Lucky loves lettuce. Lucky loves all the veggies too. So you can slice this thin, you can cut it into chunks. If it's gonna be in the fridge, if I was making this for Jerry, this would hold up beautifully till Thursday, but we're gonna have to eat dinner anyway, so, and Jerry would never be like, this again to a taco salad ever. So I know he'll be perfectly fine eating this tonight and then again on Thursday. And we'll use this entire head of iceberg lettuce for sure. Now, if you're traveling all day and you're gonna need a lot of food, like Jerry, and you don't have tostadas, make sure you don't put too much lettuce in there and you give yourself enough starch, because that's what's gonna give you the energy to catch that next flight, or to be looking alive when you get to where you're going and you wanna visit with the people you're visiting with, or see the sights, or whatever you're up to. So then drain this corn off, get all the water off of it. Because when you're making an in-flight meal, one of your goals is to not have liquids in the bottom of it. That's why I think a taco salad or a burrito bowl is the best. You could put this in a strainer if you wanted to strain it, but I'm all about less dishes. So then you can put that in the middle. I like to put this in like little rows. Then they can really see and inspect what's in my salad when they're checking out my taco salad, my burrito bowl at the airport. They'll be like, ooh, what is that? Where'd you get that? And I'll say, it's a Protective Diet taco salad. And they'll be like, what? I'll be like, check out protectivediet.com. It's amazing food that you can make yourself. I made this for myself last night when I found out I was going on this trip. And then you could put your salsa. Now, liquids are not allowed, so don't get a little cup and put the salsa in there. That's not going to work out. So what I suggest that you do is make a hole in your rice, like that, like a little funnel in the rice. And you're gonna put your salsa in there so that there's rice in the bottom, so that it doesn't touch the bottom of the container, so they don't see a whole bunch of liquid salsa. And the salsa is thick enough that it's just going to sit right in that rice. It's going to soak in a little bit, but you'll still have some nice salsa to mix into your salad as your dressing.
Is that your way of smuggling salsa?
I'm a salsa smuggler. That is it. That's so cute, Jerry. I gotta smuggle in the good stuff. That Protective Diet chipotle salsa. And then I have some sour cream dream that I blended up this morning before we got on with our day so that it would be nice and cold. And you can just plop that on top of your lettuce there, and then you're gonna mix it together with that salsa. You could use yogurt, but I would suggest Greek yogurt because yogurt is kind of runny. And if you have a whole bunch of liquid on the bottom of your container, technically, they can take it away from you. I've never had anything taken away from me, including hummus, but I'm also very friendly with the people at the checkpoint, because I'll talk to them, oh, it's a Protective Diet salad, and they'll get so distracted by my excitement about my diet and my food and all that it's done for me that it's like they've forgotten what they're actually doing, that they're checking me out. I'm very distracting, I'm very excited, so they're like, whatever, I'm not taking that salad away from her, she'll probably break down into tears. She's so excited about eating it. You could even say, I'm so hungry, I can't wait to eat this. I haven't eaten it all day, or something like that, and they would never take it away from you. We did that with Pita House. I had cups of hot sauce and hummus, and I was like, have you ever been to Pita House at the airport as we were getting on the flight? And the man was like, no. I'm like, you have to go tonight on your way home. I gave him the address. I said, it's the best hummus, best hot sauce. We flew all the way out here from San Diego to pick this up to take home with us. He was not about to take that away from me. There was no way. So engage.
I was even wearing my Pita House t-shirt.
He was wearing a Pita House t-shirt. It was hysterical. So there is no way, if you engage excited and friendly with these people, that they're going to take your meal away from you. So the next thing you're going to add to this is refried beans. So if you were traveling, or you're in a hurry, you've got canned refried beans out of your cabinet, which have a lot to be desired for me now that I have spice sauce beans or the unfried beans on the website. And how do we make spice sauce beans? We have spice sauce in our refrigerator door, of course. A triple batch of Protective Diet spice sauce makes 1 quart, 32 ounces. And a lot of you ask me, well, what size jars do you use? What kind of jars? Why do you use those jars? Well, it's because they fit Protective Diet recipes perfectly and they store in my refrigerator door. This is a quart size. This is 32 ounces, always wide mouth so it fits into your pressure cooker, into your Instant Pot if you're making yogurt. Many of the recipes use 1 quart of yogurt, like the Greek yogurt, like the cheesecake. All of our recipes that use a full batch of yogurt, we're talking about a quart jar of yogurt. This is the recipe for yogurt on Protective Diet. So if you're making it in some mismatched jars, like a pint jar, which I use too, it's not going to work out perfectly for that recipe, and then you're going to have to measure. I tried to make this as easy as possible, and if you follow along with the lessons and the recipes, it's going to be a dream, a pleasure, I promise. So I see these questions pop up in Protective Diet Living often, and it raises a red flag to me that those people aren't in my classroom. And please, whenever we have the same people in our classroom every week, all the PD success stories, you're here every week and you're spending your time here for support and education and camaraderie, and you invest the time, you make this a priority in your week to keep yourself on track and getting the information to make this lifestyle easier. Encourage people that you see asking questions to join us in the classroom, because 9 out of 10 times they're enrolled in the programming, they're making the premium recipes, you see them, but they're not aware of the tips that I share. They're not aware of the things that we share in this classroom to make applying this every day easier. Pint glass jars are perfect to fit a single batch of barbecue sauce, like it'll say it on the recipes, single batch of sour cream dream, that's one of Jerry's favorites for his taco salad. It's an oldie but a goodie. And then we also have 1.5 size jars. These are the only 2 freezer safe jars. They only come in wide mouth. They have a straight side, that's what makes them freezer safe. The quart jars are not freezer safe because they go in on the side. There is no quart jar that is freezer safe. Just a little tip there because I saw that question coming up. So, spice sauce in the blender, black beans. We can buy them in organics. A lot of times these refried beans are not in organics. We can buy them salt-free if we wanted to. We can buy them in a BPA-free can. They're becoming more readily available. I bought these at my regular Ralph's, is it a Albertsons or Kroger? Kroger. Simple Truth Organic, BPA free, 99 cents a can. Actually, if I buy the 4-pack, I get them on sale for $3 and change, under $4. So that's the way to go. So I'm improving my food quality by making my own refried beans. Give these a blend. If you wanted to, these are really nice and smooth already, and my blend type does the job. So then we're putting that in there as well, and I would put it somewhere in between the corn and the rice. My burrito belt bowl is getting fuller by the moment, and this will soak in a little bit and firm up as it chills in my refrigerator overnight. And then also we could add pickled pepper rings because those are always in my refrigerator. This is such a simple recipe if you like jalapenos to keep them handy, and they have that vinegar flavor like peppercini or jarred preserved jalapenos. Just like that. And that could be it. I mean, you didn't even have to put the jalapenos or the sour cream dream. You could have just done the refried beans or made your own spice sauce beans. You could dice up a tomato. Actually, I have one here that's washed. You could add that to the top. If you have it, you're traveling and you've got to use up your produce, add it to your taco salad, to your burrito bowl. And get it used up. I mean, even sometimes if it doesn't match, everything tastes better at the airport or on the plane. You're prepared, you're ready to go. You're reducing stress and traveling by having this awesome meal to promote your endothelium. I don't have to add any fresh cilantro to this because there's so much in the chipotle salsa that I added and so much in the rice that we got that covered. And then the next thing I'm going to pack in Jerry's bag, I put the taco salad on the bottom. Let's say it's the morning of his flight. He's got these plastic silverware utensils that he can bring with, so he doesn't have to go find a plastic fork at the airport. You can do that after you get through the gate. You can go to McDonald's and ask, or ask around, ask on the flight, but that's unfortunate if you can't find that in time and you're in a hurry. Get yourself a plastic fork to put in your bag. And then also, and it's a reusable plastic fork. Oh, I'm looking for something frozen. You could use frozen mango chunks or jackfruit. It's jackfruit season. We're in July now. So Jerry cleaned a huge jackfruit and got 2 of these delicious bags of sheets of the jackfruit. This is the star, this is the gem of the jackfruit, and it looks like this. And just opening this bag, it smells like juicy fruit gum in my kitchen. It's amazing. So this is going to be my cold pack, or I should say Jerry's cold pack. You could use either one of these containers, something like this, and you want it in your lunchbox on top of the item, because cold drops down. Which one do you want, Jerry?
The bigger the better.
The bigger the better, I have a feeling. So when my mom comes in town, we're definitely going to the Asian market to get a jackfruit. There is a lesson that is called International Market Tours or International Cultural Experience or something with international markets, and it's from my workplace for wellness that I tell you about international markets, and I show you how to carve a jackfruit to make it easy. And Jerry's gotten so good at carving them, and he is the official jackfruit carver in our house, and I can't wait to eat this tonight. I love to eat it frozen, but defrosted, it's delicious. Lucky goes,
The class is class number 169, Cutting Ripe Jackfruit and Cultural Adventure at International Markets.
Awesome. Check out that class and get yourself a jackfruit from the Asian market. It's so much fun. Don't buy them at Whole Foods. They're way overpriced if you have an Asian market. Get to it. There's so many things you can pick up there, like tapioca pearls. And there's another lesson that I take you into international markets, the Indian market, the Asian market, and the Balboa Spice Market, which is a Middle Eastern market. You've got to check out these lessons because it's going to make it feel very comfortable and you'll know exactly what to buy in each of them.
That's class number 196, International Market Tour.
There you go. So this is my cold pack that he gets to eat. Why? Because those gel cold packs, some airlines will take it away, as I've had them taken away from me. So this is an edible cold pack, and then you put it on top, put your water bottle in there, you can put his tostadas in here, and then when he gets to my mom's on his for his flight back here, she has all these containers to refill for him. And it'll be so great. They're gonna have such a good trip. I didn't put any chopped onions on here. What was I thinking? I'll put them on here. We're eating at home. We can have chopped onions all over our salads. They're so protective. Allium family of vegetables, onions and garlic and leeks. Very, very cancer protective. Just like all of the foods we're eating on a protective diet, I want to remind you that it's not so much what we eat on a daily basis. It's what we don't eat that will protect us the most. So get those cancer fertilizers out of your diet. Get the cholesterol out of your diet. If you're still including animal products and oils, get it out of your diet starting now. Because you can't eat enough kale to undo the damage of your endothelium, eating oils, eating sugars, eating animal products, eating cancer fertilizers like dairy, whey protein. Get those powdered proteins out of your diet. I don't care if it's soy. If it's soy protein, it contains food additives that will cause cravings later in the day. Don't. Anything that says protein on it on a label, don't include it in your diet. There's the food additives lesson. You can go back and rewatch if you want to learn more about that. Or join me in the Saturday morning live coaching hour. I'll answer all of your personal questions, as I'm so eager and excited to do every Saturday morning and every Tuesday in the pre-class chat. Or during class, you're always welcome to shout out questions. Jerry's excited to read them off for you.
One more question, speaking of questions.
Okay.
Is that bag insulated, the lunch bag?
Yes, it's just got like that silver lining on it. This will stay nice and cold, and even if Jerry didn't get to eating this burrito bowl till late that evening, keep in mind there's no meat, there's no dairy in here. It's not going to go bad. This was my lunch box for, and these were my lunch boxes for
years.
I think I've had them like 15 years at least.
Wow.
At least 15 years. And I found this lunchbox at TJ Maxx or Marshall's or Home Goods. You can find these anywhere, Target, any of your big box stores. Find one that you like, and if you're buying one for your husband or your son, make sure they are comfortable carrying it, because I've witnessed this in the cafeteria when I worked in the hotels, guys being like, oh my God, with their flour bag or their rainbow bag or whatever they weren't comfortable with. So make them want to take their lunch if you're getting on board as a family. Make them comfortable with it. Include them in it. You can find them online. Go, is this one okay? As you're shopping on Amazon, and make sure that they're willing to carry it, because kids, especially teenage boys, it could be devastating if they're not comfortable with their lunchbox. But I think that's everything, I hope. But check out that taco salad recipe to make these even more exciting. This is something that I packed the last time my sister was in town, and we went down to La Jolla Cove, and we went and sat on this beautiful picnic bench overlooking the water. And like I said, in lesson number 85, simplicity and meal satisfaction, you can learn how to make this in your hotel room. All you have to do is remember to pack a can opener and pack your container when you leave for your flight. But you will pack your container because it's going to be full of one of these. And you could also make the garden party pasta salad with romaine lettuce chopped and added in there, or not. That's another great in-flight travel meal that Jerry and I love because it's so quick to throw together. Yes?
Angela wrote in TJ Maxx? We had no idea you liked that store.
I love that store. I think I'm dressed entirely in TJ Maxx. Most of my cookware comes from there. That's where I get great ideas.
She was being totally sarcastic.
I know, but I wanted to share with people that are new to the classroom that don't know me yet. I love great values. I love quality items that aren't going to break the bank, that actually work with us. I don't want anything in my kitchen that I don't use. So if you see it here, ask me about it. Oh, and these classes are your opportunity to say, hey, what kind of jars do you use? I have them all here. Or hey, what brand of this spice do you use? I have it all here. So it's like I don't leave anything out. So if there's something, you're new to the classroom and there's something you want to know, join me in these live classrooms and write in all caps the question, and Jerry is so excited to share it with me so I can answer the question for you so that you don't have to wait till you get to that archived lesson. Do your best, everyone, and get yourself some good, even for work. This is an awesome meal for work. If you work in a hospital or a hotel like I did, where you end up working, your 12-hour shift turns into 16 or 18, guess what? You got enough food here to get you through, no problem. That's what I always do. Don't leave home without lunch, because if you do, you're not eating lunch, not on a protective diet, not to protect your endothelium.
That's right. All right.
All right. Take care, everyone. Best of health.
Have a great night. See you next week, everybody.